What is up, everyone? Sean here, and welcome to another monthly update for this channel here. We're going to be reviewing what happened in January, and we're going to be going into February in terms of what we're going to try to do here for the channel. And as always, we're going to be showing some random gameplay footage, and as I talk about this this whole update and stuff like that for the month. And as you can see, we're playing Monster Hunter, so enjoy while I talk about some stuff here. So, where to start? So, oh yeah, of course, January is already over. Felt like a little fast, but not too fast for me anyway. I think it felt a little more on the slower side, I guess, if that makes sense. And in terms of gaming, we're definitely already getting a lot of things. We got Dissidia very recently. We got that Dragon Ball FighterZ, and of course Monster Hunter World at the same time. And even in that same month, we even got Digimon Story, excuse me, Hacker Memory, which is the sequel apparently to Cyber Sleuth. So that's something I would like to get someday for the sake of just continuing the Digimon stuff on the channel. But that'll be later down the line. Hopefully we can get some stuff done with Justin whenever we get together. But that'll be for a later time. So, anyways, I've been playing Monster Hunter. I guess we can start with that. And that, like I said, it's been a really fun game. You can see more about that in the first impressions video I just put up very recently. So check that out on the channel. And I did purchase Dragon Ball FighterZ at the same time digitally, both for both games here. I haven't really dove too into it. I just labbed a little bit with Adult Gohan, Cell, and Android 16, of course. Android 16 is probably my favorite right now, just because he's the grappler, the big body, I guess, kind of type of character in that game. So I'm definitely gonna stick with him for most teams anyway. And Cell is, he's my favorite villain for Dragon Ball Z, so I gotta do that. And Gohan has always been my favorite character, even in comparison to Goku. Gohan is, he's my favorite. He's like the better hero for me. I felt like back in even in the DBZ. So I don't know. That's just me anyway. So. I'd like to see, try to either make Kid Gohan or excuse me, Teen Gohan or Adult Gohan work for any of my teams. So I'm gonna dive deeper into it once the online servers work for private lobbies anyway, and just whenever the Monster Hunter craze kind of dies down a bit. So that'll hopefully come around eventually, and maybe I'll do some videos about it, but we'll have to see about that. And I'll talk more about that later in the video here. But that's pretty much it for games I've been playing for this month anyway. So now let's go into the real life stuff here. It was my 28th birthday, so I am definitely that much closer to being 30 years old. So what we did for my birthday dinner was pretty much go to a Korean barbecue place. It was all you can eat, fairly priced, and it was a good time. We definitely had a bunch of beef and good pork, and had a good old time together eating and just stuffing ourselves with some Korean barbecue. And after that we did bowling to kind of finish off the night here, and it was a good time. It was me, Danny, Adam, and Mark, the boys from We Have Fun. So it's a good old get together, and I got some presents out of that, so that was pretty cool. It was all gift cards, but I can never complain about that, and I'm pretty stoked about the whole thing, the whole party, or just a little get together. And bowling didn't do too well that time around, but the second time around I did do more bowling with another group of friends very recently, and I bowled much better with a 173 at the highest and a 145 or 7 for the last game or whatever. My very first game was like a warm up, so it was like 102 or something. So I didn't quite have my form just yet, but by the second game, I even got a turkey at the end, so I was pretty happy with that. I did I did plenty of bowling for this month as well. So it was a pretty good month for me anyway, as I would say. And hopefully you guys had a pretty good start for 2018. I know there's been a lot of things already, including gaming, including the internet drama, including a lot of things going on outside of gaming anyway. So anyways, hope you guys had a wonderful start to your 2018. So, but for those who haven't quite gotten the start that they wanted, do not worry. It's just a start. It's, you know, you still have plenty of other months to really get yourself going for 2018. Hopefully you find the things you want, like a job or something, or, you know, or meet any resolution you've written for yourself or whatever. You know, like go to the gym or something, hit the gym. I know a lot of people do those kind of resolutions, and by the end of January, people kind of give up or whatever, or by that time the deal ends or something. So they kind of just, you know, pack it up and go or whatever. But, anyways, you know, hopefully your resolutions have at least are in good progress, I guess. But speaking of gym, I've been continuing hitting the gym. I very recently, did some cardio. I guess we're trying to just mix it up things for the gym, which is good. It's always good to mix things up to kind of confuse your muscles, because once your body gets used to the workout routine that you've been doing, it's pretty much not as effective as your first time, you know. So it's good to mix things up for your body. So kind of throw into that kind of loop. So it's good to do cardio. It's good to do different types of workouts for each of your muscles. So muscle confusion does play a pretty good factor besides diet and the actual technique or whatever other things that you do for workouts. So keep that in mind for anyone who is trying to hit the gym. Just don't forget to kind of just mix things up a bit here. So and if you have to, bring a friend. That's always very helpful to get yourself motivated. And otherwise, you know, I know it's hard to get to the gym and stuff like that. It you know, that sense of laziness or something that catches up to you kind of demotivates you to hit the gym. I know it's, you know, I know those kind of feelings like pop up, and it is hard to hit the gym constantly, which is, you know, why people don't really get the progress that they want. But I would say just really hard, try hard at it. Just break through those laziness kind of phases and just do your best. Just go to the gym whenever you can and make the most out of it. So and of course look up on any workouts that you want to do, what you want to focus on, and what kind of routine you want to go with, of course. And there is the whole diet thing. That's something you got to do on your own research and see what's right for you, blah blah blah. But anyways, this is not a workout video or whatever. This is a vlog. So work has been you know, work, you know, nothing really out of the ordinary. Things have been going smoothly, I would say, and I've been getting a good amount of shifts, so it's pretty constant, and nothing really to complain about. So it's pretty steady, and no drama, anything like that. So pretty good on that part. Otherwise, really, what I was gonna say. Oh, right. I think there's one more important thing that happened for January, and that's my PC. It finally arrived. Thank goodness. However, I do have a story to share. So for those who've been following me, I've been, you know, gathering some parts and whatever, you know, and things came in shipments, you know, left and right right after Christmas. So, you know, naturally, you know, a lot of packages go out and stuff like that, blah blah blah. and you know, my room was just piled with packages, and as you know, I just so eagerly wait for all the parts to come in, including all the important parts, like the motherboard and the CPU. Speaking of which, the CPU, first off, I ordered a Ryzen 7, which is the CPU I really wanted to use for this build. So my entire build was around that. So wanted to use that. So when that first came in, it came in an envelope rather than a box. And in the back of my head, I thought it was pretty ish or kind of iffy at first. But but the excitement kind of made that oversight, and I just kind of brushed it off. So I was just like waiting for all the other parts, and everything else came in their own boxes. So I saw my power supply, I saw my motherboard and everything, all the things you can think of for your PC, and I just eagerly wait until everything was here, and I was gonna start my PC build stream on Twitch. Someone may have already seen that, but I have all the broadcasts of the PC build, so you can see every single minute of it, literally, including the disastrous first stream, because my CPU, I failed to realize, was missing. So what happened was, because it came in an envelope, it just didn't, as I opened it, something wasn't quite right as I opened it, because I felt nothing pretty much. So I opened it up, and all came out was just two random little keychain clips that you would see with, like, I don't know, it was just random little like tags or something that you put on your keys or whatever to label them or whatever. They kind of look like kill confirmed, like dog tags or something from Call of Duty, like from the old days at least. And also the authenticators, as my friends like to joke about, from World of Warcraft. So not that I played it, but I kind of follow those terms, so I kind of get it. Point being, my CPU was completely missing, and that's like the most important part. So I obviously wasn't even able to even go start the build. So when I realized all this was happening, like, my body just felt like it just sank. It just like I was so tilted at that moment. Like I can even kind of relive those feelings, like when I first opened that package, and I was just so outraged. I had to turn off the stream, and I immediately called Amazon to and they just opened an investigation, blah blah blah. And a few days later, I called them back again, and we proceeded with the whole replacement, and everything worked out. So I even got a Prime membership extension by 1 month. So that's some kind of compensation. That's better than nothing. So I got something out of it, I guess. So yeah, that was pretty bad. That was really bad, because I made sure I bought the CPU from first party, which is straight from Amazon. So they never really told me what happened either. So they didn't, that wasn't excuse me for stuttering, but I don't know. I came up with the conclusion that someone at the warehouse decided to steal my part, or CPU, because of another thing that's been going about on the internet, which is the Bitcoin blowout or whatever. People have been figuring out what Bitcoin is, pretty much, and people are trying to get in on that to make an easy buck or whatever with all the Bitcoin mining and blah blah blah. It kind of works like stock, like buying stocks or shares from the stock market. It's a very risky business, and I highly don't recommend it, because it's a huge gamble, and it like, you can buy all this stuff like with all the Bitcoins, and all of a sudden, if it crashes, which will eventually happen, if not soon, then you just have a pile of nothing. And also, you don't know who to go to really after. Let's say you burned this much revenue. But you don't really know how to convert that Bitcoin and sell those Bitcoins into real cash or whatever. It's it's a like again, it's a very risky business, and I don't highly recommend it. But because of what's been happening with a lot of the retailers, people who have been taking all this, all the PC parts, especially, and certain things, certain parts, including the graphics card, have gone up in price. So it's really unfortunate for those who are trying to build a PC now, because all the parts are expensive. So it's like really hard to get into that, and a lot of the companies are trying to get that worked out by having no Bitcoins allowed or whatever at retailers. But that's the situation here, and it made some people probably hatch an idea of stealing some items from the warehouse, including my CPU. Apparently, I guess this is still all just a theory or a guess of as to what happened here, but it kind of makes sense, right? Because all the computer parts are going to be more expensive, so people will just steal it and just try to sell it for this price or whatever, and they'll maximize that profit because they didn't really buy it, they stole it. So it's like, what the fuck? And also, all the people who bought all those graphics cards at their original price, they're gonna scalp it and sell it at whatever price, because the whole Bitcoin thing is just ridiculous. And it's, again, very unfortunate for those who are trying to build a PC now. So they'll have to wait longer and can't experience the whole PC quote unquote master race or whatever, or just the benefits of having a PC. They have to wait and ride this whole Bitcoin thing out, and who knows how long that'll take. But hopefully soon, hopefully the thing will die down and everything goes back to the original pricing. But for now, it's gonna have to be the waiting game. So very unfortunate, and I got very lucky on that because I bought my parts literally at the midnight of Christmas. So it was, it was something. It was definitely something. So eventually I got my CPU, and I had my good friend Keeters, or Jeff, as you may have seen from a couple of hypecasts and also a couple of videos on this channel. And he came over from NorCal because he was building someone else's PC for another person that I know. So funny enough, and funny enough, we all came together and just to build my PC and stuff like that. But mainly, Keeters was helping me with the build, and everyone else was kind of just hanging out, helping here and there. And it was a pretty relatively smooth build for the most part. Parts, of course, did not break at all, thank God. CPU went in pretty easily. It's just, you just have to be really careful about it because the pins, it kind of just plops in there. So kind of be careful about that. But it was definitely an experience just going through the whole build, connecting everything and all that stuff. It's definitely what people describe it as expensive Legos. Like, it's like a very expensive Lego set. Everything just comes together, but of course you need the money for it, and the payoff is very good once you get that going. Literally the biggest obstacle in this build was just the cooler. The cooler that I bought was a Corsair cooler. It's liquid cooling, by the way. It's a H80i V2 liquid cooling, and on the box it didn't say it comes with the AM4 bracket. Sorry to be a little technical for those who haven't dove into PCs just yet, but for those who have built PCs, you'll know what I'm talking about. The AM4 bracket was apparently included in the Corsair cooler, but we didn't know that because it wasn't clearly labeled on the box. But it was indicated in the instructions, which we didn't read well enough So that was one of our biggest mistakes, was just not reading the instructions before we do anything. So my biggest advice, whenever you guys build a PC, read the instructions. I cannot emphasize that enough, because the build will go much smoother that way, and you'll know what you're doing, unlike us, including myself. So it was just really funny of how we've all realized, that this AM4 bracket was actually included in the box for the cooler. And once we figured that out, and we realized we were able to twist off the old bracket and put in the new AM4 bracket, everything went smoothly. But yeah, we did some pretty dumb stuff, like trying to fit the AM4 bracket that I bought, because I didn't know that the AM4 bracket was included. So we tried to fit that along with the other bracket onto the motherboard, and it just couldn't fit naturally, because we have two brackets on the motherboard, which is not how it works. And that was pretty much our biggest obstacle until the AM4 bracket was included in the thing. And then yeah, so we weren't really sure how we're gonna take care of that. We were gonna go to Fry's and everything, but that was crisis averted, because we realized the bracket was there. So especially the twisting off thing, I was being really careful, so it was kind of hard to take it off. But you can take it off and twist on the or click on the whatever bracket that you want for your motherboard. And Ryzen 7s are AM4, so you'll need a AM4 bracket for whatever cooler you get. So or at least with liquid cooling anyway. I don't know about air-cooled cooling systems. So there's that. That was pretty much the biggest obstacle. Otherwise, the only other problem, quote unquote, was one of the wires got knocked off while we were putting on the back plate. So we just literally took off the back plate, put the cable back on, and all the fans were spinning, and the cooling system was going, and everything was like lighting up, and it felt really good to see that it turned on, and see the ASUS motherboard OS going, and I of course had Windows 10 installed in there. And once that happened, boom, my PC rig is officially born. And I've decided to nickname my PC rig Jack, just because at first though, actually I was going to nickname it the Terminator, as Keeters kind of came up with, because of the red lights, and I thought it was pretty cool at the time. So I was gonna stick with the Terminator name, but until I don't know, something else came up, so I decided to go with the name Jack, because funny enough, we were playing Tekken 7 earlier, or in between the PC build. So, and also Jack has red lights in his eyes and stuff like that. He's of course a robot, and Jack is my main in Tekken 7 at least. So I decided to went with the name Jack for the PC rig. So pretty simple, and it makes sense, at least for me anyway. So now I have my own personal PC build. As I was talking to you guys last year, I was super excited, and I was saving up all that money, and now it's literally paid off. And here here it is in front of me. I'll probably maybe show you a video someday, but for now it's kind of hard to pull it out right now to show you guys. But maybe in the video you guys will see it. But I can definitely tell you the specs on the PC rig. So for those that are really curious, I have the Ryzen 7, obviously. I have the ASUS B350 Prime Plus for the motherboard, and RAM is 32 gigs. Also, the cooling system, like I said, was the H80i V2 from Corsair. with the AM4 bracket, of course. Power supply is 650 watts, gold certified, all that stuff. That's from EVGA, and graphics card is 1070. Yours truly from EVGA, the For the Win edition, of course. I actually didn't even realize I got the For the Win edition. I just saw it. I was like, oh, all right, here's the 1070. Boom. And I didn't even realize it was the For the Win edition. But lo and behold, I have that graphics card built in there. So there's that. I also have a 3 terabyte hard drive to throw in there from Seagate, and a Kingston 120 gig SSD or solid state drive. And I think that is pretty much it. And also, I have a mid tower from NZXT, I believe is the brand or company. That's where it's come from. So, pretty hefty rig, I must say. It's all with all the parts and shipping and tax and everything. Came out to a total of $1,800, like pretty much. So for those who are trying to price their PC rigs on like PCPartPicker.com or whatever, try to throw in like extra 100 or something, like whatever you have in that subtotal, and then just add like $100 or something at least for taxes, because it doesn't count in taxes. Because it doesn't know where you're buying from, you know what I mean? So be on the lookout for that. I bought most of my parts from Amazon, and then some from Newegg. So, and I got the Windows 7 disc from Best Buy. So I kind of went with the illegitimate way, so I had to pay extra money. Windows 10 costs $100. Pretty much. So if you want to try to save money on that, try to find a boot drive or whatever, USB boot drive with Windows 10 in there. I don't know, I didn't know where to look, so I just kind of just winged it and bought the disc. And I use an external CD drive, that's my mom's, so I was able to install it quite easily. So for those who don't want a CD drive in the PC rig, you can do that. You can totally do that. Just buy yourself an external CD drive, or borrow someone's external CD drive that's powered by USB, and connect that in there in the PC, and boom, there you have it. And that's pretty much it for that. So I think that's all the PC specs I can say right on top of my head, at least. So if anyone else is curious about what other things I didn't mention, I'll try to answer that question or whatever. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, it's a Ryzen 7, and it's definitely ready to stream. And I was able to do that with Monster Hunter being my first game on PS4, of course. And man, oh man, that stream came out so smooth with 1080p with 60 frames per second. I was so happy that I'm able to stream 60 frames per second again. My Mac has been holding up for a pretty long time until one update, and OBS just stopped working as well as I wanted to. And then all of a sudden it kind of just worked again at 30 frames per second. Like before, it was just completely garbage on Mac. So I was like, what the heck is going on? So that's why I went and bought Game Show and I used that for a while until the PC freaking build stream, it just kind of just died, I think. I don't know what happened. Just some of these updates are really iffy nowadays. So I don't know, every time I streamed on Game Show, it was like a white screen on the viewers end. So it was really weird, very strange. So I had to fire up OBS just to out of desperation. And it worked, and it actually ran at 30 frames per second, or 29.97 frames per second. And I was like, what the heck? Why is it working now? But I guess that's how we're going to roll for the PC build. So glad that worked, and I was able to broadcast the entire build to the very end. Obviously, I didn't stream the Windows installation. That would have been super boring to watch. So that was like the only part that I didn't stream. But I streamed the most important bits. So that's there. So if you guys want to, you know, kind of scroll through the PC build, you can go ahead and do that. Not exactly professional, so don't expect anything like that. It's kind of just you kind of just see us build a PC. So there you go. But yeah, I was super thankful that, you know, everything went relatively smooth. And while at that, like even between that whole event, we actually went to a convention that featured like retro arcade games, which was really awesome. And I got to meet some people for the first time, including Eric, who's, you know, a fellow artist. He's been drawing some really cool stuff for a community, you know, known as the Dude Community. That follows, you know, Maximilian Dude, and finally got to meet him. He was a really awesome guy to talk to. He really loves Monster Hunter, so there's that. And yeah, we had a pretty good time at the convention. We got to check out a lot of cool stuff, including all the old retro games. I even got to see the never before seen what do you call the Nintendo PlayStation, if that makes sense. Because for those historians of gaming, Nintendo and Sony had a joint little collaboration going on back in the day, and they were gonna make a CD-based console that ran CDs to run games. But something happened between the two, and basically Sony wanted to go off on their own, and lo and behold, the PlayStation was born. The PS1, you know, the very first, you know, gray little box that ran CDs, and you know, it's, you know, gaming has been pretty different ever since. And meanwhile, Nintendo ran with the cartridges with the N64, and that was like their console for that generation. So we all know how those two were between those times, and yeah, and it's just really neat to see these consoles operate, and it's just really cool to see. I played some Street Fighter, some old Street Fighter, and all that fun stuff. So, but yeah, otherwise, we just hung out at someone's house, Monophos, for those who follow the artists, I guess, for the Dude Community, and of course, he offered us some pizza, and that was super greasy but good. And we got to play some Tekken 7 and Street Fighter 5 and all that stuff. So it was a pretty fun time. And after that, we went back to and finished off my PC rig. So that was what was happening between the PC builds. So yeah, and also even before that, like our first like big ramen break or whatever, or excuse me, big break, we had some ramen. We always go to this place called Shinsengumi every time Keeters come down from NorCal. So we we go there. It's like kind of like our tradition, I guess, to have that ramen, and it's just absolutely a great time. They offer extra noodles and all that stuff. I like the overall like flavor, I guess, that they offer. So Shinsengumi is not bad, definitely not bad. If you guys are in California or SoCal, you guys want like a authentic like ramen experience, Shinsengumi is definitely one of them. Make sure you check out Hakata. That's like the subtitle, I guess you can say, for Shinsengumi, the one that we go to anyway. Because there's different kinds of Shinsengumis under that same like branch or same tree, if that makes sense. They have like little other things that branch off from that same tree, and they have like different restaurants, including yakitori and shabu shabu or whatever, and even a to-go place, and yeah. But the one we go to is Hakata. So if anyone wants to check that out, go to Hakata and try out the ramen, get the extra noodles, and you will have a grand time for ramen. So I would say it's not my number one favorite ramen place, but it's definitely an experience you have to kind of see when it comes to ramen, because you kind of see the things you would normally see in Japanese ramen places, especially ones in Japan. So if you want to experience something like that, or you get a little sample, go to Shinzengumi Hakata. So there is that. But otherwise, I did talk about, that recent bowling experience, blah, blah, blah. That was after. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then been playing Monster Hunter, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I've pretty much summed up what happened in January. So I know these videos are always long and stuff like that. And then I get to the important bit, which is what's going to happen for February. So what we're hoping, or what I'm hoping what's going to happen for February is we're going to do a Let's Play for the Dragon Ball FighterZ story. I don't know if we're going to go through all the arcs, but I would like to go through all the arcs just to experience the story mode. From what I've heard, it's pretty long. It's got like separate arcs, so there's that, and there's been some interesting things that people have posted on Twitter, and haven't been spoiled too much. Maybe some minor spoilers. I do. It just makes me want to check out the story mode that much more. But unfortunately, we're just so hooked on to Monster Hunter for right now. Hopefully, this coming weekend, as I record this, we can get that recording going. And sometime later after that, whenever the gaming craze kind of dies down from January, we get to just settle down and talk about what we've experienced so far for January and stuff like that for our next Hypecast episode. We're definitely going to talk about Monster Hunter for sure. We're probably going to talk about Dragon Ball FighterZ. And all the other games are coming up, whatever, pretty soonish, blah, 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 what have you. Pretty much what you usually would hear in our podcast episodes. So there is that for January, and there's going to be a little bit of more Fire Emblem Warriors. I do have to edit more of those episodes, so hopefully I get to those. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Cyber Sleuth is finally done on the channel, so if you want to check that out, it is on the channel in full. I think there's a playlist for that. There's just a lot of things I gotta manage, so I think there's a playlist for that. If you want to check out Digimon, our playthrough anyway, there is a playlist for that, for all the episodes, so you can binge watch it or put it on the background or whatever. And we finally went to the game officially on this channel anyway. Very fun experience, and we'll talk more about that as you reach the end of that Let's Play. So I can't wait for the other game, which is Hacker Memory. Whenever we eventually get to that, hopefully, with my friend Justin. And definitely not gonna happen anytime soon. We still have some other games to work on, including Birth by Sleep and all that fun stuff. So I think for now, though, yeah, we're gonna stick with Dragon Ball FighterZ. We'll try to anyway, and try to get the podcast episode out sometime in February, and whatever comes our way for gaming news. So it's, I would love to put out more impression videos or review videos for games that I play. I'll try to be more on top of those, and maybe more top 10 videos. I don't know. I haven't put those out as I would like to, but I've been busy. I've been working and stuff like that. YouTube's been, as always, hard to make things sustainable, I guess. That's by itself. I'm still going by just fine. It's just, I gotta work for it. I actually gotta, have a part-time job to, get by, and not a problem for me, but unfortunately for people who've kind of completely lived off of YouTube, it's definitely harder to make that happen, especially for the small YouTube channels. So there's a video I'd love to make sometime down the road, maybe like a honest talk kind of video or honest thoughts for YouTube sometime. But yeah, I think I have a lot of things to say about YouTube that I don't want to say here, just because it's gonna take way too long as it is right now. So there is one more thing I'd like to share, and it's that the next thing I would like to get myself is the green screen from Elgato, so that way I can actually do a different kind of like vlog whenever I put these out, or maybe like a Hawk Talks videos. Maybe those videos will be super different as well, because the how like Elgato green screens work, they make it really convenient to just stick it out and stuff like that, set it up. It's just so easy, it just pops up and whatever, and it's super collapsible and just folds away really easily. It's really cool. I really wanted that, and now that I have the PC rig just built and it's out of the way, I can just go ahead and get the other stuff that I wanted. So I think hopefully by the next paycheck I'd be able to get myself one, and level up my video production, I guess, in a way. So hopefully I can get that going. And also I actually recently found out that I bought the wrong AC adapter for my Canon T3i, so I gotta go ahead and switch that out for another one. But hopefully that'll happen eventually, and make vlogging a lot easier as well, and blah blah blah, and what have you. So February will definitely have some changes for the better, definitely, and maybe whatever new idea pops up, I'll definitely keep you guys updated with that. So for now, I think that's it for the February channel update, and also the January review and all that stuff. So 2018 has been a interesting start for everything else, but for gaming, we've definitely got crammed with all these games, and especially with Monster Hunter and Dragon Ball FighterZ. So but February is gonna be dry. March is gonna be another big one, I guess, for some people. If anyone is looking forward to Ni no Kuni, and then Sea of Thieves, Yakuza 6, which is definitely I am getting for myself. I will stream that, especially with the new rig. Oh my gosh, so excited. But and there's like plenty of other games for March, but otherwise pretty dry for the rest of the first half of 2018. So I think I've said that before in January, but I'll definitely say that again just to kind of remind myself. So definitely gonna be okay on games for first half, I guess, and we'll have to definitely see. We'll have to definitely see what gets revealed for E3 and all that blah 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 and all that stuff. So but yeah, sorry, that's definitely it for this video. If you have any comments or anything like that, leave me down below. Maybe some suggestions, maybe some ideas, maybe for the channel, or requests for top 10s or whatever, anything like that. Leave me down below. I'd love to check them out, definitely. And as always, hit the thumbs up and subscribe for any of the new viewers. Really helps out, and I highly appreciate it, because it really does help in the long run. So that's pretty much it for February channel update. Thank you guys so much. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Sean out.